Hello everyone and welcome to this video on how to choose bearings. To be honest, there is not much that is available to know about bearings, very sadly. But there is one thing that is pretty handy, is that bearings that you will find in shop, 99% of them will fit every truck and also any wheel. So that's very handy that there is no sizing on them. Let's now see the chapters that I will go through. First of all, I will dismount a bearing so that we can see all of the small parts and understand how it works. Second, I will discuss the ABEC norma, after what I will go over the different materials that bearings can be made of. And last but not least, we will see all of the small other parts that interact with the bearings and also how to clean them. First of all, let's dismount a bearing so that we can understand how it works. On the inside, you will have the shorter ring, and then on the outside, the outer ring. So the balls will be traveling in between both of those. In order to not have the balls hit into each other, they are spaced by a cage that you can also call a retainer right here. All of that is closed by the shield. The shield is a little plastic part on top of the bearings that you can easily take off. Let's now talk about the ABEC rating and why I don't recommend to use it for bearings choosing. First thing is that the ABEC rating was initially created to suit industrial bearings that are turning way faster than skateboard wheels. So that's one thing. The second is that while skateboarding, you apply forces in a very different way than industrial bearings. So, in general, the ABEC rating will not really give you a clear indication of quality, and you will notice the very specialist brands of bearings don't even mention it anymore. Roughly, there are three main materials that bearings can be made out of. The first one, and the most classic, will be steel. A bit better, you will find stainless steel bearings. They should not rust. After that, you will have a lot more pricey bearings that will be made out of ceramic. Ceramic is a material that is supposed to be not scratchable. Therefore, those bearings are supposed to last very long if you treat them good. Let's now review the small parts that are going to interact with your bearings. The first one that I'll talk about is the spacers. The spacers is this round little piece, and it goes in between two bearings, like this. The first use would be to separate the bearings from always the same distance so that they stay parallel and therefore they can turn really round. Other than that, you would notice that if you put bearings inside of your wheels, then the core would only maintain the bigger ring, which means that if you were to push very hard on one side or another, you would potentially be able to rip away the inner ring. For those cases, if you have spacers, then they're more durable. For longboard gear, you will sometimes find bearings that have spacers included. Next small part interacting with your bearings is going to be the speed rings. The speed rings are those little steel circles. So they go on your trucks right here. In order to not have your bearings having too much friction against the hanger on one side and the nut on the other side, because that would slow you down. Last small part that you want to hear about is the shield. I already talked about the shield. It's the small plastic part that gives you access to the bearing. You sometimes want to have access to your bearing, for example, for cleaning reasons. What you would do is take off the shields, then put it in that kind of little bearing bath. After that, you take them off because you took the dirt out, and you can now oil them. Let them dry a bit and put the shield back before you place them. Some people would tell you that they like their bearings without the shield. It feels like it's not a good idea because a lot of dirt can easily get in. Well, those people would say that, yeah, but the dirt also gets out as easy. And the biggest reason why they do that is probably because it sounds really loud. And this is the end of our guide on how to choose your bearings. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you appreciated the content, even though it was a bit complicated this time. So, to pay back for that, I will give you a personal advice on how to choose brands of bearings. What you might want to check is if that brand is specialist in making bearings. And my tip is that you just need to check if bearings is the part that they sponsor their rider for. Other than that, for informations about the other parts of your skateboard, we also shooted other videos that we will link you right here. If you have any other questions or doubts, make sure to contact us.